This is the story of that India which was once called the Golden Bird. In this video, we will journey through an India that was not just a country but a living civilization. An India where fields were lush and green, markets were vibrant, rivers flowed with life, and people carried self-respect in their hearts. We will remember a time when India was counted among the world's most prosperous economies, when its textiles, spices, silk, and handicrafts were famous across the globe, and when universities like Takshashila and Nalanda lit the lamps of knowledge for the world. As time slowly moves forward, a few foreign ships appear on India's shores, arriving by sea. They came as traders, holding trade agreements in their hands and smiles on their faces, but in their hearts burned the fire of power and greed. These Englishmen who arrived under the name of the East India Company first became friends, then advisors, and eventually rulers. Step by step, they interfered in India's politics through small concessions, exploiting internal divisions, and ultimately seizing power. The Battle of Plassey in 1757 does not appear to be just a battle. It emerges as a story of betrayal. With the defeat of Siraj-ud-Dowlah, the era of India's plunder begins. We then witness how Bengal, once a symbol of prosperity, is slowly pushed toward destruction. Treasuries are emptied, gold and silver are loaded onto ships and sent to England, and the value of India's labor, India's earnings, and India's sweat is decided by someone else. The lives of farmers are the first to change. Land revenue keeps increasing. Tax collection becomes ruthless, and land is confiscated if taxes are not paid on time. Farmers are forced to grow indigo and opium instead of food grains. Crops can be seen in the fields, but the grain grown there never reaches the farmers' plates. The hands that work remain empty, and the stomachs remain hungry. As a result, famine no longer seems like a natural disaster, but emerges as a man-made tragedy. Whether it is the Bengal famine of 1770 or the famine of 1943, lifeless. India's industries also slowly begin to collapse. Handicrafts and weaving industries that had flourished for centuries are destroyed. Foreign mill-made cloth floods Indian markets. The sound of looms gradually falls silent, and artisans sink into the swamp of unemployment and poverty. This leads not only to economic slavery, but also to cultural slavery. Indian languages are called inferior, traditions are mocked, and an education system is created that mentally enslaves Indians in the name of progress. Slowly, self-pride begins to turn into a sense of inferiority. Then comes the year 1857, rising like a storm. The spark lit by Mangal Pandey turns into a nationwide fire. Rani Lakshmibai raises her sword, and warriors like Tatya Tope and Kunwar Singh step onto the battlefield. The rebellion is crushed, but it makes one thing clear: the flame of freedom will no longer be extinguished. After the revolt, repression becomes even more brutal. People are hanged, villages are burned, and an atmosphere of fear is created. India comes directly under the British crown, but the desire for freedom in people's hearts grows even stronger. Slowly, awakening begins. Organizations are formed, people start asking questions, and the demand for Swaraj echoes across the nation. In this struggle, the voice of Bal Gangadhar Tilak is heard. Swaraj is my birthright. People boycott foreign goods and adopt Swadeshi. Then comes that afternoon at Jallianwala Bagh, when bullets are fired at unarmed civilians. The scene shakes the very soul of the nation. Along with fear, anger is born, and the freedom struggle intensifies. Then Mahatma Gandhi enters the stage. Truth and non-violence become weapons. Through the non-cooperation movement, the Dandi March, and civil disobedience, the foundations of British rule begin to tremble. Batons are used, prisons are filled, but the people do not step back. Women and youth step forward in this struggle for independence. They leave their homes and become part of the movement. They give up education, jobs, and comfort, and accept imprisonment. In every street, every village, and every city, the voice of freedom begins to resonate. Later, the Quit India movement of 1942 becomes a decisive turning point. The slogan, "Do or Die," echoes across the country. Leaders are in jail, but the people are on the streets. British rule realizes that India can no longer be kept enslaved for long. The final phase arrives, where freedom and partition stand side by side. Amid the sounds of celebration, cries of pain are also heard. Millions are displaced, thousands lose their lives, but centuries of slavery finally come to an end. The morning of 15th of August 1947 arrives. The tricolor flutters in the air. India becomes free. This is not merely a transfer of power, it is the return of self-respect. In this journey, we remember the millions of unnamed sacrifices, because of whom we are able to breathe in free air today. This story is not just history, it is a